Hello. This is a video about the full moon that we are having today. I was thinking about this full moon over I was like, I need to do a video on this because it feels important. It feels big. And so tonight we have a full moon in Aquarius at 2 degrees. Look for what part of your chart Aquarius rules, where 2 degrees might fall. That is where you are going to be feeling something big happening. The moon's job is to remind us that we cycle. We have our days when everything's dark and we're like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got to start something. Then we get an idea and we start it. We plant the seed. Then at the first quarter square, there's a little bit of a like, oh, is anything growing? I've been watering this thing. I don't see anything happening. Every day is different. Like we have a good hair day, we have a bad hair day. You know, we're in a mood, we're not in a mood. That's the moon's job, is to cycle. We cycle 24 hours a day and we cycle throughout the month, and then we cycle throughout the year, and then we cycle every 30 years. So it's like we're inside a great big clock. That's what astrology is really doing, is, you know, spinning a gear here, and then there's a bigger thing going on over here. And it's all like what you zoom into or zoom out of. And I'm kind of talking about this because this is Aquarius energy. Now, so the moon itself, and moon children know this, like the Cancers out there know that they can be kind of moody, because they are really in tune with this constant, like, it's like the weather, it just changes all the time. So the moon's job is to remind us that we cycle, and to have us recognize like what part of the cycle we're in. Are we at the full moon? Is everything in fruition? Are we disseminating? Are we letting out all that goodness after the full moon and just dispensing all that stuff that we were working on? Are we tying up loose ends? Is it the dark moon? Are we very quiet? So the moon always fluctuates, but the moon in a fixed sign like Aquarius is going to be fluctuating and changeable and having a cycle around something fixed. And because it's Aquarius, it's going to be a vision. It's going to be your visionary part. It's going to be the part of you that probably conceived of a brand new idea or felt a reset around the end of December. And so starting the new year, you started something new. So there's like a dream. There's a dream that's coming forward from you into life. And you've been working on it since January. And it's big. It's like, this is a really big reset. This is a new step that's you're not going to be backtracking on. It's like creating something completely new. So the full moon is, first of all, it's about fruition. It's about culmination. It's about completion. It's about overflow. It's about ripeness. It's about crisis too, in its own way. It can be like, oh my God, this is what I've come out with. The bread has come out of the oven. Is this what I thought I was baking? So that is the energy of this, but it's going to be about something that you have been working on and will continue to work on. This isn't just like a one-time flash in the pan thing. This is a long construction project for your soul, for you. Saturn, so every time for the next at least 2 more years, I believe, we are going to have, while we have Saturn in Aquarius, every time the moon rolls into the sign of Aquarius, if you take note of it, if you have an app that shows you where that is, you will feel this somberness and this seriousness and this like you're being graded a little bit. Like, am I on track? Am I on the rails? Did I get off the rails? Am I on track with my goals? So then this is the big full moon that we have. Actually, there's another one too that's going to be at the end of the sign. So you're going to be getting this message a lot, which has to do with, what have I created? What am I creating? What are my results here? Because full moons are about results. Aquarius is about your big vision. Are you getting results on your big vision? And Saturn is like, you didn't make that part right. You need to go back and redo it, because Saturn it's the structure, it's the architecture, it's the scaffolding, it's the bones. And think of how the body is, the bones are on the inside. We want to build properly, layer by layer by layer, and we want to make sure the bones are strong and sturdy and are going to hold our vision for a long time to come. So for this fun 3-year period, we have Saturn and Aquarius reminding us every time the moon, which again is that cyclical energy, like, where am I in my process? Have I planted the seed? Am I getting the fruit? Am I picking the fruit? Where am I? And does the fruit look okay? Does it look healthy? Would I want to eat this fruit? Those are the questions that come up for the next 2.5 years while Saturn is in Aquarius, when the moon rolls through the sign and we are reminded that we are working on a project. Because this is a constructive process with Saturn, like, do it and do it once and do it right. Although usually we have to do it more than once to do it right. It's a layered process, and there's some restriction to that, right? It's not like just, I don't know, drawing a doodle and having that be good enough. Like, we want to have all the foundations for that picture put in place. So what we began at the beginning of the year is highlighted right now. Our ideals, our innovations, our radical insights, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and it's like lightning, and it's like, what do we download? Like, oh, I should do it this way. I've never done it this way before. We're supposed to be having those insights and recognizing them. I mean, we're having them. It's more about saying, hey, that's okay to be innovative and really different, and really interrupt how we've been doing things, because that is Aquarius. So these are going to be innovations to structure. And because we have that Saturn with Jupiter conjunction, which goes, it rules far into the future, it's about going bigger. So probably the thing that you set in motion in January, consciously or unconsciously, was like, I want to innovate something and I want it to be bigger than it's been before. Then Saturn is like, is coming right behind us as we're etching away at that sculpture and saying, did you put the eye in the right place? It looks like it's placed a little low on the face, and it doesn't really go with the nose. Are you sure you want to leave it there? And so that's, for those of us that want to be the road runner instead of the turtle or whatever, it's like we want to do things fast, and Saturn's like, now hold on. If this is your masterpiece, you want to make sure you put the eye in the right place, because it's going to be there for a long time. So do you want the eye in, over where the ear should be, or you want to, so there's this nitpicking quality sometimes to Saturn, restrictive, but it's really helping us think of it as just giving you the bones for your big project or your big dream, and helping you create the architecture for maybe a really great idea that you've been working on. So there's this serious feeling every time the moon moves into Aquarius, because it's got that Saturn somewhere, some degree of Saturn, the moon is going to be hitting for the next couple of years. So you're always going to be brought back into this reevaluation of this big thing you're working on, your masterpiece. How are you doing? How are you doing? Great time to take a pop quiz. I want to talk about Aquarius. Aquarius rules vision, dreams, the daydreams you have, like, what if it could be this? What if it could be that? Innovation, it has to do with your future self. Where are you going? Who are you becoming? Has to do, I feel it has to do with elevation, not in the same way Capricorn. So Capricorn is the goat climbing up the mountain, and it wants to get to the top because that's what goats love. Aquarius is more like, why was I born? What's my highest expression in this lifetime? Like, if I had one, what would I want to bring forth? Like, what ideas? And it's all about ideas, because Aquarius is that water bearer. even though it's an air sign. And it's about dispensing wisdom, dispensing something from a higher level that comes from the stars. You know, it comes from high above earth down onto earth, and tapping all of us on the head. It rains down on all of us, and we soak it in, and we get these insights. And that's how innovation occurs in society. That's how innovation occurs in our individual lives. So that is what we are dealing with. And this is the point where I wonder what I might have missed that I wanted to say. So basically, the feelings that you're having right now for this full moon in Aquarius are going to be, you know, triggering that building project of yours at 2 degrees Aquarius, or whatever house in your chart that rules. If it's your first house, it could be like how your whole life path is changing. It could be a body project. It could be a self-image project, or a projection of you in the world. If it's your second house, it might be a complete renovation of your cupboards and your what food you put in your mouth and your body, your money and your resources. It could even be a family of origin, history, genealogy, the stuff that created this body of yours. Basically, the second house supports the first house in that way. It could be if it's a third house, there may be a serious writing project in your life. You may be working on something or a message, and it could be even joining community groups or working with neighborhood stuff. It could be a project related to siblings. It could be a project related to your thinking process. Like you could be studying something, you could be learning a new skill if it's in your third house. And this is a serious project that's ongoing. If it's your fourth house, full moon alert in the deepest sector of your being. It could have something to do with family. It could have something to do with your private life, with your home, with, you know, wherever you live, and your deepest self, because that is like, that's the part of you that's awake at midnight. It's like that midnight self. If it's the fifth house, creative projects, children, performing. It could be just how you relate to joy in your life. If it's the sixth house, it'll be what you do every day. And that's an interesting one, especially if Saturn is pinging you there. It'll be like, are your systems and processes really what you want? Do you need innovation there because it's Aquarius? Are you thinking of things from beyond a rational level? Are you letting in new ideas that could inform your day-to-day work and the stuff that you do, or even with your employees? If it's the seventh house, oh gosh, you know, contracts, working with the public, significant others, whether they are personal relationships, love relationships, partnerships, business partnerships, your attorney. Yes, innovation, remember, and culmination going on there. If it's the eighth house, this is the place of the deepest part of transformation. So if it's here since January, you may have even decided, hey, there's some inner work. I'm going to change something on my inner structure and the way I deeply feel about myself. So I'm gonna work with people who are almost like shamans. I'm going to work with psychologists. I'm going to get into my deeper psychology and get that figured out. Or I'm going to get into my investment strategies deeper. I'm going to really sort through how others contribute to me, and the contributions that come in through other spaces that are not just self-produced. Ninth house, you know, that's the house of far horizons and foreign lands and what's over at the edge of the world. And it's also very much a connection to God and to like, what is your inspired life? Like, what if you had the highest life you could possibly have, why did God put you here? Why were you really born? And what is your philosophy around that? So that may be a place where you are really working on something. And at the full moons in Aquarius, this is a moment for you to really have some realizations. Really, it's about self-realization and higher self-realization. If it's the 10th house, that's your career and outward persona area. It's the place where you are an authority somewhere. It could be career related stuff, and what you're going through there, what needs to change, what needs innovation. Are you getting a raise? If it's the 11th house, this is the house of dreams and higher aspirations gain from all of your hard work, community collectives, your network. So this may be a place, friends, where you're, because of Saturn's always saying like, are you sure? Like you'll be doing something, you're connecting with a new network, neighborhood network group or online group. And Saturn's like, are you wasting your time there? I don't know. So always the reevaluation happening when you have the moon there, because it's about how you feel. I really feel like I need to change this. That's what the moon is always doing, is working on the emotional aspect of you. 12th house, long-term investment strategies as well. Or it's also the area of hidden things in the subconscious. It can be where you go to talk to God. It's like the cathedral in which you sit that's very quiet. There's no one else around. So if that's where you're having the full moon, there may be some really important and innovative messages coming from your prayer space. So just look at that. So I don't usually go around the wheel. I guess I was a little wound up because it's a full moon in Aquarius. And I hope this was helpful. I would love to know also from you what other topics are really valuable for you that I could talk about. That's always helpful. I'd love it if you like this video, shared this video, and do what you do with it. Thank you so much for your support, and happy full Aquarian moon to you. Enjoy the innovation.